Hello everyone, West Country Explorer here. I'm currently at St Mary's Church in Compton Abbas. A little while ago I was doing a bit of research into the church in preparation for a video I was going to do on it. And whilst doing that research I came across a reference to the Dorset Clubmen, a group of people who operated during the English Civil War. That was the first time I'd heard about this group of men, the Dorset Clubmen. I didn't know anything about the Clubmen or what they were about or anything like that. So I was intrigued. I thought I want to know a bit more about these Clubmen, what they did in this area, what they were doing during the English Civil War and all the rest. So I've done a bit of research, and this video is all about the Dorset Clubmen and what they got up to during the English Civil War in this area in 1645. So guys, I hope you enjoy. I've just popped into the Cricketers in Shroton. On a Monday the kitchen's closed, so it's just a bar only, but that's alright. Got myself a pint of Timothy Taylor's, so that'll keep me going. Probably get myself a hot drink in a minute. So anyway, like I said, the Clubmen, they operated during the English Civil War. The Civil War was in essence a fight between King Charles I and Parliament. There was a multitude of causes behind the war, some of them being the King's belief in divine right of king to rule, Parliament's desire to curb the King's power, and also religious differences between the different factions. The Civil War wasn't one continuous fight between just English people. The Welsh, Scottish and Irish were also involved in the three different wars of 1642 to 46, February to August 1648 and 1650 to 51. And it was also a very bloody war as well. During World War I, 2.4% of the British population were killed. During the English Civil War, on the other hand, 12.3% of the British population were killed. So yeah, as you can see, the Civil War was quite a bloody war. As for the rise of the Clubmen, the two opposing armies in the English Civil War displayed excesses in their actions. Men were being forcibly conscripted to fight, and their wives and daughters were being raped, whilst their crops and property were being either damaged or seized. During the early stages of the war, the Clubmen gatherings were spontaneous, but then as time went by and the war went on, they became more organised. In some areas it was the local gentry and church that were the main organisers. They were people who simply wanted to protect themselves and their locality from suffering as a result of the army excesses. During the Civil War, Dorset lay between the royalist strongholds in the southwest and the King's base in Oxford. As a result, armies were regularly passing through the county. Shaftesbury was royalist in sympathy, and the castles at Sherborne, Corfe and Portland were royalist strongholds. By early 1643, most of Dorset was under parliamentary control, and in the autumn of 1644, the royalists gained control of most of Dorset. After the surrender of the Earl of Essex's parliamentary army at Lostwithiel in September. This is a good pint, this is very enjoyable. In February 1645, the villagers of Godmanstone killed several royalist soldiers. The next day, nearly 1,000 men gathered to resist the Cavaliers. The Clubmen movement was in Dorset. On 25th of May, 3,000 Clubmen from Dorset and Wiltshire gathered on Clubmen Down and read out certain desires and resolutions, together with articles of covenants and certain directions for present behaviour were agreed upon. In early June, 4,000 Clubmen were present at Bradbury Ring when Thomas Young, attorney at law, read out a covenant that embedded the desires and resolutions. And on the 24th of June, they were published at a general meeting at Sturminster Newton. And here we are at Clubmen Down. Well, I say Clubmen Down. On the information board at the car park where I left my bike, it indicated this spot where I am now as being Clubmen Down. But on the map that I've got, it indicates a little area over there as being Clubmen Down, and there's this spot being Fontmell Down. Well, I thought because one source indicates this area as Clubmen Down, and because it offers panoramic views of the countryside, I thought I'd do recording here. As you can see, it's a bit of a cold, cloudy day. If I was here in summertime, the views might be a bit more glorious, but still good views, still good views. On the 1st of August 1645, Sir Thomas Fairfax, Parliamentary Commander-in-Chief, arrived at Sherborne. The next day he received news that Dorset, Wiltshire and Somerset clubmen leaders would be meeting at Shaftesbury on the 3rd, and so immediately sent Colonel Fleetwood and 1,000 cavalry to Shaftesbury. The clubmen leaders had fortified a 2-acre area at Castle Hill in Shaftesbury. On the 3rd of August, Colonel Fleetwood surrounded Shaftesbury and captured over 50 of the leaders. They were sent to prison at Sherborne, then on to London. On the same day, news came that at least 10,000 clubmen from Dorset, Wiltshire and parts of Somerset would be meeting up. On the 4th of August, Oliver Cromwell left Sherborne with 1,000 dragoons and made their way to Shaftesbury. When they reached Duncliffe Hill, which has got Duncliffe Woods on it, which is about a mile or two west of Shaftesbury, they saw flags flying from the top and so went to investigate. On the hill was a group of clubmen, their leader being Richard Newman from Fivehead Magdalen. They had gathered to decide what to do about the clubmen leaders who'd been captured the day before. The first part of a letter from Oliver Cromwell to Sir Thomas Fairfax gives an account of the meeting between Oliver Cromwell and Richard Newman. It goes as follows. To the Right Honourable Sir Thomas Fairfax, Commander-in-Chief of the Parliament's force. Sir, I marched this morning towards Shaftesbury. In my way I found a party of clubmen gathered together, about 2 miles on this side of town towards you, and one Mr. Newman in the head of them, who was one of those that did attend you at Dorchester, with Mr. Hollis. I sent to them to know the cause of their meeting. Mr. Newman came to me and told me that the clubmen in Dorset and Wilts, to the number of 10,000, were to meet about their men who were taken away at Shaftesbury, and that their intendment was to secure themselves from plundering. To the first, I told them that although no account was due to them, yet I knew the men were taken by your authority to be tried judiciously for raising a third party in the kingdom, and if they should be found guilty, they must suffer according to the nature of their offence. If innocent, I assured them you would acquit them. Upon this, they said, if they have deserved punishment, they would not have anything to do with them, and so were quieted to that point. On the other, I assured them that it was your great care not to suffer them in the least to be plundered, and that they should defend themselves from violence, and bring to your army such as did them any wrong, where they should be punished with all severity Upon this, very quietly and peaceably, they marched away to their houses, being very well satisfied and contented. See a little part of Duncliffe Woods, which is all part of Duncliffe Hill. As Cromwell and his men carried on towards Shaftesbury, they learnt there were a great number of clubmen congregating at Hambledon Hill. Estimates vary as to the size of the congregation, between 2 and 5,000. The rest of Oliver Cromwell's letter to Sir Thomas Fairfax gives an account of the encounter between parliamentarians and the clubmen. The rest of the letter goes as this. We marched on to Shaftesbury, where we heard a great body of them was drawn together about Hambledon Hill, where indeed near 2,000 were gathered. I sent a forelong of about 50 horse, who, coming very civilly to them, they fired upon them, and they, desiring some of them to come to me, were refused with disdain. They were drawn into one of the old camps upon a very high hill. I sent one Mr. Lett to them to certify the peaceableness of my intentions, and to desire them to peaceableness, and to submit to the Parliament. They were refused and fired at us. I sent him a second time to let them know that if they would lay down their arms, no wrong should be done them. They still, through the animation of their leaders and especially 2 vile ministers, refused. I commanded your Captain Lieutenant to draw up to them, to be in readiness to charge, and if upon his falling on they would lay down arms, to accept them and spare them. When we came near, they refused his offer, and let fly at him, killed about 2 of his men and at least 4 horses. The passage, not being for above 3 abreast, kept us out, whereupon Major Desborough wheeled about, got in the rear of them, beat them from the work, and did some small execution upon them. I believe killed not 12 of them, but cut very many, and have taken about 300, many of which are poor silly creatures, whom if he please to let me send home, they promise to be very dutiful for time to come, and will be hanged before they come out again. The ringleaders which we have, I intend to bring to you. They have taken divers of the Parliament soldiers prisoners, besides Colonel Fines, his men, and used them most barbarously, bragging they hope to see my Lord Hapton, that he is to command them. They expected from Wilts great store, and gave out they meant to raise the siege at Sherborne, when they were all met. We have gotten good store of them, of their arms, and they carried few or none home. We quarter about 10 miles off, and purpose to draw our quarters near to you tomorrow. 4th of August 1645, your most humble servant, Oliver Cromwell. Now those of the clubmen that were taken prisoners were initially held overnight in St Mary's Church in Shrewton. One of the prisoners was a Robert Frampton, who later became Bishop of Gloucester. He was held at St Mary's along with his 4 brothers, one of whom had been so badly wounded he had to crawl to the church on his hands and knees whilst bleeding a lot. Their sister spent 2 hours during the night searching for them on Hambledon Hill by lantern after their father had been told they died in the battle. It was only upon the release of the prisoners that the father and sister learnt the truth. Come the morning, the clubmen were sent home. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry about that. Little cough there. Yeah, so come the morning, the clubmen were sent to their homes, whilst the leaders were sent for trial, though some managed to escape. The dead were buried in a long grave to the south of the old church tower. Hambledon Hill marked the last time the clubmen posed a serious threat to either the parliamentary or royalist troops. Yeah, so it's a very cloudy day today, so can't really see much of the views. But I'm definitely going to come back to Hambledon Hill sort of in the spring, summertime, and do a proper walk around. So this is just a bit of Hambledon Hill, where one of the main encounters happened, just to give you a bit of an idea of what it's like. Here we are inside the church at Shrewton. This is where the Clubmen prisoners were kept overnight, having been captured up at Hambledon Hill. It's a bit dimpsy in here. I haven't found the light switches, so I haven't been able to turn the lights on. It's nice and warm in here though. So there you go. Like I said, this is where the prisoners would have been kept overnight. The Reverend Thomas Bravell appears to be one of the Dorset Clubmen's most influential leaders. He avoided capture at Shaftesbury and was one of the leaders at Hambledon Hill that had been captured. He was an interesting character who had at one point threatened to pistol any clubman who ran away. In 1646 he lost his job as the rector at Compton Abbas. He was the rector of this old church. So he lost his job but was reinstated within 6 months and remained rector till 1655 when he died at the age of 39. So that's quite a young age. So yeah. So in conclusion, to bring this video to a bit of an end, I'd like to thank the people behind the Dorset Clubmen article on the Fontmell Magna website, and also to Hayden Wheeler, who's the author of this book. So between this book and the website, I got pretty much all of the information that I've used sort of doing this little video, so I'd like to give a big thanks to them. What I'll do is, in the description to this video, I'll post a link to the Fontmell Magna website, and what I'll also, I think he's got a website, Hayden Wheeler, so I'll put a link to that website. I'm pretty sure he's got a website, so I'll put a link to that in the description. And if you're interested in this book, I think it's on Amazon. I'll have a look-see, and if I can find it on Amazon, I'll put a link to the Amazon link in the description, so if you want, you can buy it. I have done a book review on this little book, so if you're interested in watching that, I'll put the link to that, my book review, into the description to this one. So, but like I said, between this book and the website, that was a lot of the information. That's where I got all my information. So without them, my job would have been a lot harder researching this video. So big thanks to them for that. Well guys, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and like I said, it's just a brief little snapshot on a bit of English history on the English Civil War and the Clubmen in Dorset. So yeah, let me know what you think. Drop me a comment if you enjoyed it, if you didn't enjoy it, whatever, and let me know what you thought about it and all the rest. Well guys, thank you for watching, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. And in the meantime, the usual, stay safe, take care, and God bless.